Chapter 9. The Prodigal Returns. You stare in shock at the woman standing in front of the doorway of the Volition base, trying to find Harley's features and hers. This is your mom? Yes, I am. Her eyes narrow suspiciously at you, but then Harley clears her throat. She's not just my mom. She's also one of the leaders of the Volition. I feel like that would have been good information for us to have had earlier. Spare me the lecture, Hassan. I'm about to get a much worse one. Harley, we haven't heard from you in weeks. Where the hell have you been? And now you're bringing outsiders here. You know better than that. She scowls over at Nico, eyeing the LoveCorp issued shirt he has on. And not just any outsiders, outsiders with LoveCorp ties. Mom, relax. These are my friends, Erica Ward and Nico Hassan. They come in peace, etc., etc. Ma'am, we need your help. And why would two LoveCorp employees need the Volition's help? Well, we're not LoveCorp employees anymore. At least, I don't think we are. Not that I've seen the termination paperwork. I think they skipped the paperwork when they put us on their most wanted list. So, you've done something that really pisses them off. Interesting. Erica and Nico helped me steal information about the Soulmate program. The kind of stuff you've spent years looking for. Because of that, we finally have real solid proof of what LoveCorp has been doing. You're telling me you broke into LoveCorp and you didn't think to send us a message beforehand? I know, I've been bad at checking in. No, Harley, the problem is you don't check in. Not until we send someone to make sure you're alive. Which is why you know I wouldn't just show up here out of the blue unless I didn't have a choice. LoveCorp is after us, all three of us, and this is the only place we'll be safe. And we tried to lay low outside the city, but they found us the same night. And they sent armed agents. She sighs deeply as she reaches out to squeeze Harley's shoulder, a gesture that seems more unnatural than affectionate. Then she steps aside, beckoning the three of you into the warehouse. Thank you so much, ma'am. We really appreciate it. Call me India. And don't misunderstand me. I'll be keeping a close eye on you. On both of you. Her eyes dart between you and Nico for a moment. You feel like a bug under a microscope. India, we'll be on our best behavior. So just let us know if you need help with anything or if we're in your way. And we appreciate your hospitality. India stares blankly at the two of you, then turns to Harley. Not your usual crowd, Harley. What can I say? I'm expanding my social circles. As soon as you step into the warehouse, the Volition space, India gives you a once-over, wrinkling her nose. You look like you've had a rough night. Glance down at your clothes, which are adamantly pretty filthy, and after your trek to the woods. We left the city in kind of a hurry. We didn't exactly have time to grab a change of clothes. And fighting LoveCorp agents to know. You fought LoveCorp agents? You should see her right hook. Well, we got plenty of clothes to spare if you want to change to something more comfortable. I can show you. Harley leads you to a closet in the same room, where she pulls out a shirt, a pair of jeans, along with a slick jacket, even though we're in a hallway that looks like Fallout Shelter, or Fallout period. Wear this, and you'll look just like a Volition member. I bet that'll make a good impression on them, too. Let me know if you want some help getting changed, okay? I know it's been a long day. Talk about revolutionary. I definitely want to get out of these clothes. There's probably a bacteria colony growing on them by now. A visual I didn't need. Actually, bacteria grow pretty slowly without a food source. And any explanation I really didn't need here, Erica. She hands you the clothes before her and Nico step out to give you some space to change. But before you close the door, you find yourself glancing between the two of them. You know what? I just move on. Closing the door, you quickly slip out of your dirty clothes and put on the new ones before stepping out to show everyone. Harley wolf whistles enthusiastically. Nico grins. Even India looks impressed. Well, you'll fit right in around here. You look like a born rebel. That lack of dirt suits you. Thank you. India leads the three of you in a simple meeting room that almost feels out of place among the industrial feel of the rest of the warehouse. Seated around the table are four figures, and India gestures to them. This is the Volition Council. Petra, Danilo, Margelia, and my husband. Victor Ramos. Pleasure to meet you. Oh, that's Harley's last name. Victor, these two came here with Harley. Well, the Prodigal returns. Ignoring Petra, Victor leaps to his feet and rushes over to Harley to capture her in a bear hug. Hey, Dad. After a few seconds, she squirms away from her dad, exasperated, but you can see the happy twinkle in her eyes. Well, aren't you going to introduce us to your friends, Hart? Right, this is Erica Ward and Nico Hassan. We're very grateful to you and your wife for letting us stay here. You have a pretty cool... I haven't really seen the home, so we'll go with daughter. You opened my eyes to so many things I could never have imagined. Erica. You're preaching to the choir. I'm just glad to see that Harley is making friends. She was never any good at it as a kid. Dad, please. No, do continue. Victor wraps an arm around Harley and gives her another squeeze. Harley shuffles uncomfortably. Listen, Dad, I know I should have called. No, you're here now. That's all that matters. Behind you, India clears her throat, drawing attention back to the rest of the council. Harley, you said you, Erica, and Nico brought us the evidence we need. What did you find? Well, yesterday we broke into one of LoveCorp's restricted labs to look into what they've been doing with their brain scan technology. It's a lot more advanced than any of us knew. We found evidence that LoveCorp has experimented with brainwashing for decades. They learned how to adjust people's perceived compatibility and who knows what else. We even found the plans for their tech and where they're continuing their research. She smirks over at her mother as she puts the USB with all the data onto the table, but it's Victor who speaks first. This is a major accomplishment. With this information, it's not enough. What? This is more info than you've got your hands on in years. It's proof that LoveCorp is brainwashing people. It is proof that they have done experiments with such things. No, proof they're using it on everyone. The Volition needs concrete evidence of what LoveCorp is using this technology for if we're going to convince people to turn against them. But still, knowing the methods they are using will be massively beneficial. It's a first step, but that's all it is. The question now is, are you willing to take the next one? I don't seem to have much of a choice. I can't go back to the city after everything's happened, which means I'm either stuck out here or out in the woods. And I get the sense you aren't going to let me stay if I don't help you out. That's not exactly a compelling argument to trust you. Yes, it is. It means literally basic survival. Maybe not, but if I have to earn your trust, you have to earn mine. Next to you, Nico clears his throat. I was hoping to offer myself to your cause. What's your background, Nico? I was one of LoveCorp scientists, and when I saw what my work was being used for, and was furthering the company's real goals, I want no part of that. More than that, I want to put a stop to it. India looks over the both of you appraisingly. She then turns back to the council, speaking as though you aren't even there. The council will have to discuss this volunteer situation, especially given Erica and Nico work for LoveCorp and were part of the Soulmate program. I can vouch for them. They're on our side. They're also brainwashed. And right now, it's impossible to know how deep their conditioning goes until we better understand how they were taught to think and behave. There's no way to fully trust either of them. And this is why I gave the response that I did. But we already know how the brainwashing works. There's an image that they show you. You know the mechanisms of the brainwashing, yes. You know how it's triggered. But do you understand what it could make you do? How it could impact your actions, your thoughts, beliefs, or on the most unconscious level? Well, no. Then my answer stands. For now, this council meeting is adjourned. We shall discuss the rest later today after breakfast. As most of the council heads out the door, and one of them lingers looking at you and Nico. Forgive me, but I can't help but be surprised that you two would want to help our cause at all. I was under the impression that LoveCorp had buried all the real information about the Volition aims and history. You're right. Most of what we heard is just LoveCorp propaganda. But we've seen the work that Harley does, the way it helps people. But you don't know our full history. Do you even understand what we're fighting for? I don't know. Kind of in a way to save the human race. Yeah, if you guys are standing up to LoveCorp, then I know what side I'm on. Me too. If I can make a suggestion, maybe Erica, Nico would benefit from looking at our records. The way you can learn a bit more about our work and how we got our start. It would be nice to learn the truth about the Volition after so many years of hearing lies. I have an archive that dates back decades. You're welcome to flip through it and ask any questions you have. I'll make sure they don't gloss over any important details in their answers. Victor takes a thick journal off one of the bookshelves and passes it to you. Alright, here we go. Volition's principles. Principles of Volition's core beliefs are as simple as they are to counter everything that LoveCorp teaches. 1, we believe that having a partner shouldn't be a requirement for any part of life, including home ownership and child rearing. 2, we believe that people should choose who they want to spend their lives with, rather than deferring this decision to a corporate entity and/or algorithm. We believe in divorce. Just as people should choose their partners if they desire them, they should also have the freedom to leave them. We believe in community living, in direct opposition to the rugged individualism encouraged by the corporate plutocracy. We also stand strongly against big business, the alarming overabundance of and/or over-reliance on technology in the city. Wow, all pretty radical stuff. I'm sure it seems that way to you, but really, a lot of us existed before LoveCorp monopolized city living. The right to love who you want, to be in a community you want, to maintain certain interests and rights, regardless of your relationship status. Life seriously used to be like that? Once upon a time, yes. Then LoveCorp set up structures to ensure everything followed their way of life. We want those structures to collapse. But if that happens? What comes next? How will people rebuild? Now you're asking the important questions. Founding. The Volition was founded a mere 3 decades ago by India and Victor Ramos. The organization began primarily as a way to pursue direct action against LoveCorp's growing insertion in sectors of everyday life. Initially, the Volition was a protest group, chiefly concerned with the abundant spread of big business. But as LoveCorp expanded their reach and net worth, then crackdowns on protests began. The organization had to take a more aggressive approach. So, hold on a second. It began 3 decades ago. Okay. You folks are old. I'm serious. In their effort to reclaim citizen power, the Volition pursued tactics such as arson, bombings, and LoveCorp controlled areas, though they failed to make any meaningful gains. Had to take a more aggressive approach, my ass. What kind of revisionist history? Harley, we all know your feelings about our methods. And yes, it's true that the Volition made many mistakes in our early years. Even your mother admits to that. We were a new movement trying to figure out what tactics work best against our enemy. And let me guess, innocent people got caught in the crossfire? You have to understand, LoveCorp's control is even more persuasive than it seems. Yeah, the whole mind control thing didn't escape me, dude. We never wanted to hurt anyone, but we didn't want LoveCorp to hurt anyone either, so you can see the dilemma we were facing. I see it, but how would bombs and fires help anyone? It depends on who you were bombing and burning. It should never be a thing, my dude. Oh, violence just... it never works. No, it never works. Prove me one time that it really, really worked. And I'll give you 1,000,000 times it didn't. Later years. For many years now, the Volition has been in hiding, operating primarily underground and through back channels into the city. That was a strategic decision made necessary by new laws banning protest and public critique of LoveCorp. These laws were themselves the result of several violent incursions, and as such were uniquely draconian. India and Victor Ramos fled the city with their infant daughter after nearly escaping a raid on their home, and neither has been back since. They set up a new base in the remote wilderness, but the new laws and distance from the city forced the Volition to change tactics. Agents now focus on pushing anti-LoveCorp politicians and legislation through, though to date none of these efforts have seen more than a modest success. Is it true you really haven't been back to the city since the raid? Not once. I miss it more than India. I think there's nothing quite like a bustling city center. No, dude, no, I'll pass. The nostalgia has made you sentimental, dear. I assure you the silence out here is far nicer. But Harley goes back. She has an apartment for Corp's sake. My parents would be recognizable to LoveCorp. Even now, LoveCorp doesn't have any record on me, though. But if they had an idea who you were, they haven't figured it out yet. Structure. The Volition's leadership structure is a hierarchical based on seniority. That is to say, how long someone has been a member of our organization. Our two leaders, India and Victor, share the responsibility over the broader organization, having the final say in all the decisions of import. Below them is the Council, 3 other experienced members who consult on key strategic decisions, and each of them oversees a division. Below the Council are agents, those sent back to the city to gather intel on LoveCorp and other matters of import. Rounding out the Volition are members who remain at the base to ensure that day-to-day operations proceed smoothly. That's kind of a given. Is that why you're Harley an agent? Harley shrugs. Well, that's the closest descriptor, I guess. You have to be so vague. Harley has perhaps a bit more independence than the average agent. And a less regular check-in cadence, despite our insistence otherwise. I bring you guys good, actionable information every time. That should be enough. Well, this was really informative. Thanks for sharing, Victor. Once everyone but you, Harley, Nico, Victor, and India is cleared out of the room, India gives you a stern look. You two can stay, but I don't want you going anywhere in the base unsupervised. That means no wandering, no poking around, and I'm going to set up a round-the-clock rotation of members to shadow you. That's fair enough. If you think Nico and I need to be watched, we don't have a problem with it. We're here to help if we can not screw things up for you. Well, at least you're cooperating. That's more than I can say for some. Harley rolls her eyes as her mother looks at her. I can look after her, Mom, or do you not trust me either? There's a moment of tension as they size each other up, but it's broken as Victor steps between them. Erica, thank you for so much for bringing us this information. You have no idea how helpful it is. Oh, you're welcome. And Nico, I'd love to pick your brain on some things later if you're open to that. We could use another scientific mind around here, especially one with your kind of experience. I'd be happy to chat, sir. There's nothing better than a good scientific discussion. I agree. Except for literally anything else. With a 2-fingered salute at her parents, Harley grabs your wrist in one hand and he goes in the other and pulls you both out of the room. You follow Harley through the winding halls, and when you finally think you're out of earshot of India and Victor, You let out a heavy sigh. Well, your mom seems nice. Harley cackles. For a former corporate shill, you're a pretty bad liar, Ward. It's one of your better qualities. Harley steers you both into a sparsely decorated bedroom, some clothes strewn across the floor, and graphic novels on the bookshelf. This is my room. We can all share for now. Huh. I would have liked a third or fourth option, like, hey, this feels like yours, or there's only one bed, but, or something other than that. But I mean, it's a pretty big bed, but it'll probably still be a squeeze for all three of us. Probably sputters a little at that, and Nico's eyes widen. Nico can sleep on the floor. Why me? Because it's my room. But I'm a guest. You can't help but laugh, and soon the other two are joining in, and Harley flops back on her bed with a heavy sigh. I'm guessing you've got questions. Well, I don't understand why you didn't tell us you were part of the Volition. Not just that part, but you're the daughter of its leaders. At first, it was just because I didn't know you. Not really. All I knew was that you both worked for LoveCorp. I mean, be honest, Erica. If I had told you when we first met that I worked for the Volition, what would you have done? I would have heard you out. Chloe's intake was a turning point for me. Even I didn't realize it at the time. If you mentioned her name, I would have listened. And the fact that I worked for LoveCorp, what calls a terrorist organization, wouldn't have changed anything. It would have for me. Which is why it was a chance I couldn't afford to take. Not when I needed you to trust me. You could have just explained that what we knew about the Volition was all based on lies. Part of the problem is that it's not all lies. Harley scrubs a hand down her face. As for why I didn't tell you until now, honestly, it's because most of my work has nothing to do with them. In case you missed it, I'm not always the best at keeping in touch, and I can't even tell you the times I've thought about cutting and running entirely. But your parents founded the Volition. Why wouldn't you want to be more involved? It seems like you both want to take down LoveCorp. Harley scoffs, eye cast downward. Our goals might be the same, but our methods differ a lot. How so? Because when push comes to shove, the Volition will always fall back on violence as the answer. And I don't have a problem with that, not really, but I do have a problem with them seeing the innocent who get hurt as collateral damage. Well, then the bombings, the attacks, all of that actually happened? My parents will tell you all of that is in the past, but my mom still believes the only way to dissolve LoveCorp is through a violent takeover. And for a long time, she pushed me to get on board with that. Hell, I was supposed to lead a Volition one day. Sounds like a lot of pressure. It was, and once I saw how many people got caught in the crossfire, I realized I could never think the way that my mom does. To her eternal disappointment, Harley. Like I said, I don't believe violence will ever be the answer. Like, you look at the past and just MLK is a perfect example of that. So many times people used violence against him, and yet he never did it. He never did it back. He did the right choice. The whole reason we're trying to bring LoveCorp down is for the people. If we throw them away just because of an inconvenient to keep them safe, then we're no better than LoveCorp. I guess I've been rubbing off on you, Ward. I never understood how my mom could make sacrifices without thinking twice. You care about the people, Harley. That's not a bad thing. I'd go so far as to say it's a good even. Still, this place is my home. I grew up here. I think a part of me will always long for it, even with all the complications. I can't imagine what it was like growing up in a place like this. Harley's lips quirk up into a smile. I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty damn cool. It's the opposite of the city in nearly every way. What makes it so different? Well, for one, we live communally, so everyone pitches in to help, whether that's through gardening, cooking, or something else. I can show you around if you want, introduce you to some of the people you haven't met yet. I think it'd be better if I go and talk to Victor, see if I can answer any of his questions. But you should go see what this place is like, Erica, so since it seems like we might be here for a while. Well, that would be great. I'd love to see more of this place. Then follow me. After dropping Nico off with Victor, Harley walks you back through the twisting corridors, which branch out like a concrete maze. This place is huge. Perks of being in the middle of nowhere. No zoning restrictions, the volition needs more space, and we add more space. Is that why all the rooms look so different from one another? Yep, it all depends on who built them and when. Some of it looks like a bunker, some of it looks like an ultra-modern office space. But you know me, I like the mess. It's when you emerge into a cozy underground space full of booze littered with various items, all lit by softly glowing hanging lanterns. Oh, this looks kind of cool. Welcome to the Volition's Market. There's food here, clothing, scrap parts, whatever you need, whenever you need it. People bustle around between the different stalls, and you watch as a woman slips an apple into her tote bag and continues on. Not to alarm you, but I think you might have a bit of a shoplifting problem. There is no shoplifting here. Nothing costs money. Oh my god, it's a utopia. No shit, it's a utopia. I mean, there's no point in replicating LoveCorp's hyper-capitalism when we're trying to stand against them. But how does that work? The market is where people shop, but everyone contributes in their own way. If not here, then somewhere else. The idea is that you take what you need when you need it, and you give back what you can when you can. So, all of this is available to everyone here? And I thought I was lucky when I could convince a paired coworker to buy me the good snacks at a vending machine. There are only so many packets of weedy bits a person can eat before they go crazy. Makes me wonder, why does the city doesn't have anything like this, where the people ever take more than their share? What the most popular item in the market is? Middle question is actually pretty good. We'll do that. We'll see how they handle that, actually. It's a fair question, and we've definitely had problems in the past with, we'll call them hoarders. The thing is, if a Volition member is hoarding resources, it's usually out of fear that they won't have enough to survive down the line. But it shouldn't be a problem if you're all sharing, right? Yes, but that can take time to sink in. Most of our members weren't financially secure in the city, but that's usually part of why they joined us. So instead of punishing them, we find ways to make them feel more secure. Harley leads you to a nearby stall where a muscular man stands in front of a half-finished wooden furniture. Erica? Meet Harris. He's our carpenter, he can make furniture, and he can repair it. I bet if you gave him a few beers and a hammer, he'd be pretty good at destroying it too.
Nice to meet you, Erica. I hope Harley is not going overboard with hazing.
I've increased the color of his tattoo. No, Harley's been super welcoming. Trust me, Harris, if I were hazing Erica, we'd already be a puddle, or she'd be already a puddle of tears.
You all talk, Ramos, as if you'd ever make a pretty girl cry.
Harley sputters indignantly while you and Harris laugh. So, what brought you to the Militias, Harris?
Well, I was more or less forced out of the city a few years back. My lover, Jackson, and I wanted to be paired, but LoveCorp refused, so we had to follow protocol, so we cut and ran.
That's brave of you.
Yeah, it's very kind of you to say, but we didn't have much of a choice. Still, I take brave and over desperate any day.
Harris, what was it like to fall in love outside of the soulmate program? Were you afraid of what that meant for you?
Oh, yes, yes. When I realized what I had with Jackson was real love, I sort of freaked out. Like everyone else, I grew up believing LoveCorp was the only way I could find love. Though realizing that wasn't true.
He rubbed the back of his neck awkwardly.
It was terrifying. I felt like I'd done something wrong, like I'd broken the system that my life was built on.
That sounds familiar. When I first started questioning what LoveCorp was doing, a part of me felt like I must have been making it all up.
Ugh. Yes, but once I realized the system was the broken part, not me, I know what I had to do.
Well, I'm glad you both made it.
You too, Erica. Let me know if you need anything as you settle in, okay? I know the bedroom's are pretty sparse, but if you want to add some furniture, I'm your guy.
Come on, our next stop is outside. You wave goodbye to Harris as Harley leads you deeper into the market, pointing out a couple adjacent rooms as you go. That's the dining hall, it's the main hangout for everyone, and of course people can cook their own food there, but usually there's at least one person making enough for everyone. How do you guys find enough food to eat? I mean, trading isn't really an option, and foraging that much seems difficult. Funny you should ask. Harley pushes open a heavily enforced door and you both step outside. Into a massive garden with what seems to be every crop imaginable. Tomatoes, carrots, grains, beans. Well, there's my answer, I guess. Harley smiles as she leads you over to a woman who is hunched over a flower bed. She stands as you approach. Harley, is that really you? Harley's changed her face. But the weird part is she looks nothing like the current models that they're currently using. Anyway, moving on. In the flesh, Kiki, this is my friend Erica. Erica met Kiki. Kiki was born in the volition, and now she heads up our farming operation. Ah, that is seriously impressive. And you farm enough to live on produce year-round? We're actually nearing the end of the season. It's about time to harvest and let the beds rest for the winter. And we still have a couple of greenhouses and a ranch about a mile down the road for meat, milk, and eggs. I can show you some other time when you feel up to a longer walk. I'm sure Janice would be more than happy for some extra help. She's always looking for more workers. Workers? I didn't realize Evolution had employees. It's not exactly the same, but if you stay here, you'll have to choose a job eventually as a way to pitch in. My dad will probably ask Nico to work directly with him. But if there's anything you want to do, the council takes requests into account. I think I'd want to cook, garden, teach. Honestly, all these are really good choices. Me personally, this is tough. I'm gonna be honest with you. So you could cook with anything, right? Because I dig cooking. Gardening though, I like doing that too. And then teaching. I'd go with teach. Assuming there's a school here. There is, kind of. We have a few former teachers, and I know they'd love the extra help. It's a lot more organized than it was when I was a kid. They actually have a curriculum now. And with Evolution growing, there are even more snot-nosed monsters who need to learn algebra or whatever. I see you're not a teacher. For your information, the kids love me. I bribed them with enough smuggled candy to make sure of it. Leaving Kiki behind, you and Harley wandered deeper into the garden, only for Harley to stop and stare out at the horizon. It's just weird that LoveCorp hasn't come this far, I'm gonna be honest with you. Is this the next stop on our tour, or... Sorry, I was just thinking. Everything okay? She left in a heavy sigh and shoved her hands into her pockets. You might have guessed already, but it's been a long time since I've been back here, and the truth is, I was dreading it. Whenever I'm home, it's like everyone's expecting me to be something I'm not. But with you...
She turns to face you, eyes twinkling as a smile lights up her face.
I feel more myself than I ever have. I feel like I can be myself around you too. Honestly, you're probably one of the only reasons I know who I am, given everything LoveCorp made me think. And, standing there, surrounded by the beauty of nature, it's hard not to feel drawn to Harley, not when she's the reason you're getting to see it.
We'll do a hug.
I don't think we've really done anything romantic with her yet. It's kind of like a slow, steady process, IMO. Before you can second-guess yourself, you take a step forward and wrap your arms around her. She's still for a moment, and then she practically melts into your arms, tightly squeezing you. Thank you. For what, the hug? For sticking with me. Impulsively, you give her another squeeze before finally letting go. You don't have to thank me for that. I should be thanking you for showing me a different way. I guess that makes us even. Loath as I am to go back inside, we should probably check on Nika. Do we have to? You give her shoulder a light shove and she laughs. I'm kidding. We'll go grab Brainiac and then I think we've earned a nap. Sounds like a plan. The next day, you, Nico, and Harley are brought back to the Volition Council room where India and Victor wait for you. Good morning, India, Victor. Good morning. I hope you all slept well. India. I slept a lot better than the night before. It's amazing what not being woken up in the middle of the night by LoveCorp guards will do for your sleep quality. They all laugh, even India's lips quirk a little. As long as my daughter's snoring didn't keep you up. Harley rolls her eyes. For your information, I don't snore anymore? I don't know about that. Last night you sounded more hoarse than human. Victor, I, and the rest of the council discussed your offer to help the Volition's cause. Which we're extremely grateful for, of course. Yes, and we would be willing to let you assist us on one condition. And what is that? We've been working on brainwashing deprogramming software for quite some time. Fortunately, or unfortunately, our progress had been stalled, in large part because we lacked key data. But now we have the data we need. Data you all stole for us, directly from LoveCorp. Deprogramming? Is that even possible? You could actually get rid of whatever brainwashing they've done to people? Indeed. I find that no matter how it's manipulated, the human brain always strives to return to its natural baseline. Homeostasis. Yeah, it's kind of like taking someone's phone away from them for a week. Watch how they act after a week before you give it back to them. Seriously. Precisely. As for whether our program can do it, well, that's where you come in. Then you worked out the kinks? The program's not dangerous anymore? Alright, what was the danger? I've gone to extra lengths to ensure the historical issues we've had are no more, but the truth is we don't know. That's why we want to do a trial run. She turns her eyes to you and Nico. You want us to do it? If you really want to prove yourself and aid our cause, then put yourselves on the line to prove our deprogramming works. Deal. And it should be our MC versus Nico. We'll get to that here in a minute. Without further ado, thanks for watching. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. So, by the way, there's a little thing down below. It's pinned. Pretty much, I've been late on doing anything on the channel, right? If you've noticed or cared, yeah, you're like, where have you been? And pretty much my computer that I recorded my content on fried. The cost is a little, you know, a little bit. It could have been a lot worse, and I'm gonna be honest with you, count my blessings. So if you want to give, it'd be appreciated. Even a single $1 crisp bill would be helpful, right? just one. If you want to give more than that, be greatly appreciated. Any and all amount would be greatly appreciated. That is down below. If you're not able to, just please make sure to not, make sure to share the channel, share the cause, get other people, who might want to help and support the issue. Especially because I've been doing this for so long and whatnot, any and all assistance would be greatly appreciated, but, it's something that, well, pretty much just go to the thing, read it, and you'll see why I'm asking for help, and it really tightened the budget and everything when I didn't really have the ability to do so. So I'm going to be sacrificing myself until I return back to normal, which again is only if you guys are willing to help. Aside from that, let's get to the story. Um, Again, Nico's an intelligent person, right? He helped develop the brainwashing technique and everything else like that, right? Um, so long story short is if there's something that is going wrong during the deprogramming or does go wrong, at least he's someone who most likely can fix it and or help you, right? um Harley clearly can't do it because she's not brainwashed, so literally and figuratively our MC is the only choice there is. um So yeah, that's just my thought on it. Let me know your thoughts down below. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Catch y'all later. Peace out.